Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with the Diablo 4 Necromancer build guide. And in this guide, I'm going to showcase the Bone Necromancer build that not long after the campaign has been finished is going to be showing some gameplay footage here doing World Tier 3 encounters in a dungeon. Now the thing is to point out here is that the World Tier 3 dungeon starts at level 53 and we are several levels below this. It is recommended that due to this extensive amount of higher difficulty that you should be at the very least about 3 levels behind and not as many levels as I am in the gameplay footage. Despite this, we actually are playing a Bone Necromancer which is performing very well. What didn't perform as well as I was hoping was the survival of the actual melee skeletons, which are reapers in this build against this type of content. As your level is closer to the content you're actually engaging with, it makes the survivability of your minions significantly better, even though they could actually benefit from a quite significant buff in general. I feel like for the highest endgame of this type of build, it would be better for you to run without the skeletons. I also feel like using the skeletons provides a ton of extra benefits, but most importantly, makes the leveling experience extremely smooth, as not only do they act as extra corpse generators and damage output, they also act as meat shields for you, taking aggro from the enemies. So the main problem encounter was obviously due to the underlevel approach, but however, we are going to sacrifice the golem and the mage skeletons for the most optimal smooth leveling experience, and once you're caught up in levels, the skeletons will feel a lot better. This has been tested and confirmed. Now, outside of this, the build guide showcasing the progression of the build as well as endgame best in slot pieces and Paragon board is available in a link in the descriptions below the video. And despite the survival of problems with skeletons, they make bosses, even being underleveled, feel very reliable due to the heavy investments we have to create tons of corpses, which not only act as meat shields as I mentioned earlier, but also the source of damage output as we are regaining essences to continue casting our bone spears. It's fair to point out though that I did beat the capstone dungeon, which is a level 50 dungeon, with this build at level 44. And that yet again would recommend running this if you're going solo at level 45 or 46 at the very least, if not higher, to make it more comfortable. Now, a detailed guide for the capstone dungeon will be posted in this channel very soon. So what is the pros and cons of running a Bone Necromancer? Obviously, the Bone Spear is incredibly good with the splintering aspect, allowing you to get extensive amount of clearing and hitting at tons of enemies, guaranteeing the application of vulnerability, and as well as a defensive curse of Decrepify. So this is for solo play, but it also weaves in very effectively for party plays, by lowering the enemy's damage output drastically and slowing them down. Besides this, we are using the corpse explosions to generate extra damage whilst we're getting the essence back. There are some variations of this by you being able to go into the blighted version, which allows you to create some damage over time pools when you're doing this type of damage, which can also weave into picking up the extra movement speed node in the tree. Whichever route you take is up to you. I had a lot of fun playing this build and testing it out towards the end game, and I'm very excited to showcase this build guide for you, which is linked in the descriptions below. So the main features we're running with in this specific build is the node Hued Flesh. This allows us our lucky hit to generate corpses, our melee skeletons, the Reapers, are spec'd in to generate again corpses, and obviously we'll be running with stuff like Grim Harvest that allows us to regain essences as we are consuming these corpses with the corpse explosion. This allows us to have a very natural progression of us dealing high amounts of damage with bone spears, and then as our minions are tanking the enemies, we can use the corpses to resummon or buff and heal our skeletons by resummoning them, as we are gaining essence by doing so, and also applying tons of damage through corpse explosions as we are regaining that essence, creating a very smooth flow of a rotation where we're not really having any complete halts of damage output. As the time frame where we are rebuilding our resources, we're still doing respectable damage output. For the highest endgame, I will be looking into a lot of extra legendary powers. This is covered in the actual build guide, of course. You can make changes going into corpse tendrils for the extra crit with the codex power, and you're also able to potentially reach 100% uptime with Bone Storm, allowing you to have some absolute disgusting damage output with this. And this works for both the Bonemancer as well as the Shadowmancer builds if you'd like to do that as well. More of that later when we have fully tested the highest endgame after the launch, but these are listed in the build guide as examples of what you could pull off when you reach the higher levels of 80, 90 or higher than that with proper full legendary gear sets. I hope this build guide has helped you decide what kind of build you'll be playing on launch. I hope you have a great launch for that matter. And if you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. And don't forget to tune in on my stream channel, twitch.tv/GHAZZY, in which we're actually having drops enabled, and the supporter streamer featured event is happening on my channel as well, where you can give 2 subs to get some really nice, juicy transmog rewards for doing so and supporting the channel at the same time. Wish you the best of luck in the launch of Diablo 4. Until next time, as always, stay safe, keep rocking.